Hi there, it's Tony here, and today we're going to be speaking about recovery from exercise, be that running, cycling, swimming, working out in the gym. Regardless of what it is that you're doing, when you're putting your body under stress, you need to recover from it. So I have a question for you. When would you consider that recovery has got to start? And my answer to that may well surprise you. So just make a note of what your definition of recovery starting is for you, whether it's when you get home and you've had a shower, or whether it's straight after training, whatever. So my definition is that your recovery starts as soon as your main set, so that's the bulk of the hard work that you're doing, has finished. And then you go into the cool down or warm down phase of your training. And to me, that is where the recovery starts, because now with that, whilst you're starting your warm down, cool down, call it whatever you wish, that is when we're preparing the body to return to the normal state that it was at before we started training, reducing the heart rate back down, cooling everything down, rehydrating, and returning to that normal state. So once we've done our warm down and we've got ourselves back home and we've showered and we've changed, before that we need to be having some fluid. Now a rough estimation to help you with fluid is, let's just talk water, simple water for now. If you've been training really hard and you'll have been sweating a lot, you need to be replacing at least 1.5 times the amount of fluid that you've lost through sweat. So a good thing that you can do to help yourself with that is to weigh yourself naked before you start training, and weigh yourself again naked once you've finished training, and the difference is going to be how much fluid you've lost through sweat. Okay, now if you've been drinking during that time, you need to know how much you've been drinking, but for a rough guide, 1 pint is equal to 1 pound in weight, 1 litre is equal to a kilogram in weight, so you can work out how much sweat you've lost. Let's assume that you've lost 1 pint of sweat. That means that you need to be replacing at least 1.5 pints of water. Okay, so that's with your rehydration. And we're just looking at water there. There are other drinks that you can take that have got electrolytes in, drinks that have got proteins in, etc., and that kind of thing. But I just want to keep it really simple and looking at water when we're looking at rehydration. We also need to refuel. So when we train, our body starts to break down. It's coming under stress. We're damaging all the mitochondria and they're getting little micro tears. So we need to be able to refuel the body with protein and also with carbs to initially refuel the body, and proteins to help you to rebuild all those muscle fibers, mitochondria that have been damaged, and to help them to come back stronger. So fueling is a really important part of your recovery process, and it's important with that you don't go overboard with your refueling. Oh, I've worked really hard, I've been out for a 3-hour run there before I can have 2 3-course meals. No, not that at all. What we're talking about is replacing the essential nutrients that you're going to need to get yourself back to a position where you can be getting a full recovery, because that's what we're looking for, a full recovery. Other areas that I would like you to think about with your recovery is stretching. Now, once we've finished exercise, stretching is an area that I see many people doing wrong. You quite often see a runner stood up against a lamppost or a tree trying to pushing it down, and he's thinking that he's stretching his calf muscles. With stretching, when we take our muscle into a stretch, so imagine that my hand has got a little bit of a stretch on it, you take it to a point where you just start to feel that bind. It's what we call a bind. So you just feel that little bit of tension and just hold it there 10 to 15 seconds. Now the scientists can't agree on how long you should hold a stretch for. I personally believe that if you hold it for 15 to 20 seconds, and that will be enough just to get those changes, to allow those muscle fibers to relax. And the way that I describe it when we're stretching, so imagine that my hands are my muscle fibers, then when we get tight, they all get really tight and they bunch up and we get knots. Now, when we put our body into a stretch, and we hold it there, the body's fighting against that stretch. It doesn't want you to go past there and damage itself. But once you've held it for a few seconds, your body will start to relax and you'll be able to ease those muscle fibers out. So you go into a stretch, you hold it 15-20 seconds until you feel it just easing off. Come out of the stretch, go back into that stretch. You'll notice that you can go just a little bit further. You can repeat. So do your stretches twice, maybe even 3 times if you feel the need to do so. But you don't overstretch and you don't take it to a point where you're actually in pain. Pain is there as a very good tool to let you know that you're damaging your body. Another very important part of getting a full recovery is your sleep. And if you're absolutely knackered after a very hard session, or if you've got stresses going on at work or in family or money, whatever it is, health issues, you're not going to be able to sleep as well. A good sign of getting a good recovery and being able to go out for your next session of training is getting a full night's sleep. This is when your body goes to work for you. Whilst you're asleep, your body is working really hard at recovering and trying to build it up so that it comes back stronger than it was before you went to sleep. That's how your body works for you. If you put it under stress, it will get stronger, and to do that you need to have good sleep. Other areas that we can go into with our recovery are things that you can do a little bit more infrequently, and you can go and get yourself a massage at a sports massage therapist. Now these are deep tissue massage. They're not designed to be comfortable, and they will find any little knots that you may have, any little discrepancies that you've got within those muscle fibers, and we can eke those out for you. And sports massage therapy is something that I've got, one of my tools. However, I don't really do sports massage therapy anymore. However, it is a very good tool to have, and I would recommend that if you can get a regular sports massage, get it done. It's going to nip things in the bud before a dysfunction turns into an injury, so we don't want that. Other things that we can do for ourselves, we can do what's called myofascial release, which is, for example, if I've got a block in here, I can put some pressure on there and we can put some work on it, get in really deep just in a specific spot. Myofascial release. To do that, you probably have to go to see somebody, but if you've got a very good knowledge of anatomy, you might be able to help yourself out with things, and we can get sticks, and there are tools that you can use to help you with that myofascial release. But you only need to be doing that if you are very good with anatomy. If not, seek professional help with that. What you can do is you can use a foam roller. A foam roller is where you're getting a little 4-inch foam roller, a little bit like this but made of foam. That's the tin. Okay, and you can roll your body along it. Now I've seen a lot of people just rolling backwards and forwards, particularly down the length of the thigh, down what is known as the IT band. That's not going to do you any good whatsoever. It's just going to hurt. Take it to the point. I want you to imagine a fried egg. Okay, we're going to start working at the outer edges of that. We're going to start working at the white and then start working towards where the main issue is, which is the yolk. So we start from the outside and then we start getting closer and closer to where the actual issue is. So you get onto that point and you're just rolling backwards and forwards over it just for a few seconds until that pain starts to ease, and then you move a little bit closer and do the same, a little bit closer, until eventually you get onto that point where the issue really is, and then you can excuse me, you can do that. What's happening whilst we're doing all of that? We're moving stuff through the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a system that we have all the way through our body that is very similar to the blood system. So you've got your arteries pumping blood out, your veins, blood returning to your body. Alongside that, we've got the lymphatic system, and what that does is it takes all the byproducts out of the blood, all the nasty stuff that we don't want, all the dead cells in the muscle fibre, all the damaged cells, all that crud, excess lactic acid, it takes all that out and it flushes it out, goes through your internal organs and comes out in your wee. So you'll notice that if you are very dehydrated, your urine will be a dark orange brown colour, and if you're well hydrated, it'll be clear. What we're looking for is straw coloured urine, and those are things that you can check during the course of the day. So if it starts going dark, you know that you're erring on the side of dehydration. And what that colouring is are all the damaged cells that we've got in the body, all the dead blood cells. So there are trillions upon trillions of cells throughout the human body, and they are being replaced all the time. So there's no need for you to worry about that. So main points: recovery starts as soon as you've finished your last set. Make sure that you get a good warm down. Make sure that you get rehydrated, refueled, you get your stretching done, you get a good night's sleep recovery, you know what you're going to be doing the following day with your training. If you get your recovery right and you take as much care with your recovery as you do with your training, you're going to have a lot of success. So that's all for now, and we'll catch up with you again later. We'll come up with another topic. If there's anything that you want me to talk about or you would like to know more about, then let me know and we'll see what we can come up with for you. See you guys.